help with a chance at $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword SMILE to 200-200. That's SMILE to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard dated rates apply in this nationwide contest. Beyond Reason Radio.
So I was thinking about this earlier today, and I'm really sorry to start the show with doom and gloom. I don't always do that. I know Tom Benson's like, you got to be Mr. Positivity in there.
Doom and gloom, you got your paycheck.
Yep, that's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I'll be happier tomorrow until I see how much I got on my paycheck. Then it might be even more doom and gloom. But the reason why, I'm just going to say it. I have never been more afraid for the future of my country than I think I have been this week. And I was even thinking back after 9/11. Now, I was in high school when 9/11 happened.
Uh-huh.
And I was pretty afraid for my country after that, obviously. But for some reason, there's a part of me that feels even worse about this. Worse about what's going on right now. And I know that seems like an unbelievable statement, but when I look at what we're doing, it seems like we're slowly committing suicide almost as a country. Because even after 9/11, we could still go about our daily lives. We could still go shopping. We could still work. We were afraid of terrorist attack. We were afraid of war, but we knew the enemy pretty quickly, and we knew how to fight it pretty quickly. And there were certain things that had to change, and we changed forever. But it seems like this kind of stuff changes every day. And I've never seen so much fear and panic, frankly. And when you try to have a reasonable conversation about the future implications of everything we're doing right now, you're branded as you don't care about the sick. You know, the last 10 years, I would say the Democrats and the left, they would say, if you disagreed with them, they would say you're a racist or a xenophobic or whatever it is. You're a racist.
But that has changed, right?
I think it's changed now. Mm-hmm. Now, what we're going to hear from the left all the time is if you disagree with their policy prescriptions, you don't care about the sick and the dying. You want everyone to die. Obviously, that kind of thinking is beyond reason, but it's already started, and it's coming even more in the future. This is Beyond Reason Radio. I am your host, Michael Yaffee, the voice of reason in a world that is beyond reason. We're on until 8 p.m. tonight right here on News Radio WFLA Orlando. If you miss any of the show, catch the podcast anywhere that podcasts are available. Tom Benson is in the control room as well. And Tom, how are you, sir?
We're doing fine tonight. Thank goodness. It's pretty much status quo over here.
Okay, so you're going to talk me off the ledge, right?
I hope so.
You don't sound very confident in that.
Well,
okay.
The difference is, again, to go to a cliche, it's the fear of the unknown. We don't know what's going to be happening in 2 months, let alone 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, exactly right. And I guess our government officials don't know that. So I've been looking for reasonable voices out there. I've been looking for people that are willing to say the tough things, but willing to be smart about what we're doing, smart about what's going on, smart about the future of the country, and who's willing to ask questions about, hey, wait a minute, should we be giving up all of our rights right now? Is that the smartest thing to do? Should we destroy the entire economy? So I go on Twitter, and my friend Amanda Prestigiacomo from the Daily Wire, I follow her on Twitter, and I read her stuff on the Daily Wire, thedailywire.com. I would recommend everyone go to it. And I'm like, finally, a voice of sanity on everything that is going on. And I know she's being blasted for it by some on the left, but I guess you would expect that. But Amanda, I had to bring her on the show. So Amanda, welcome to Beyond Reason Radio. Thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So the main reason I wanted to bring you on is to get your thoughts on all of this, to get your thoughts on what we're doing as a country here. I mean, what are you thinking today as now my Governor Ron DeSantis, has done a statewide shutdown order, basically?
Yeah. So, I mean, where to begin?
I know. I was trying to think of where to begin with you, and I'm like, I was going to ask you to
so
talk me
much.
off the ledge, but I don't know if you would, honestly.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have some time to turn this around. So I think America always perseveres. We've been through worse. We're going to be okay. Okay. We have innovation. We have when we don't have President Fauci, when we have President Trump, we're all right. So hopefully we get him back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll get that back on track. No, we just first and foremost, America will bounce back. We have always bounced back. But just general thoughts, I think most people, if you take a step outside of media, you think most people are frustrated probably with our approach to this, and they're scared. So those two feelings are probably the most prevalent, right? And I think, as you guys mentioned, which is super important, the uncertainty, right? We don't know what's going on. We don't know a ton about the virus. We know some things. We've learned a lot. We have new data outside of China because they lied to us, of course. But the uncertainty, even with the economic standpoint, right? You don't know your small business back up. You don't know when you can hire people back, or when you're going to have your paycheck, or even this relief. When it's going to get here for sure. I mean, we won't have those checks yet for the relief for just everyday citizens.
Right.
There's so much unknown that is really crushing us right now. And Rush Limbaugh actually talked about this yesterday.
Which you wrote about on the Daily Wire, I saw.
Yeah, because I thought it was so important, because nobody is allowed to talk about what we're doing economically. And I think Rush Limbaugh made such a good point where he said, this is being viewed as you were highlighting, Michael, that it's, you just like money over lives.
You
you
care about the stock market. That's what I've heard a lot of the people on the left say. You only care about the stock market. And I'm like, how do you have a conversation with someone that dumb, honestly?
No, it is hard to have these sort of conversations with people who are just kind of regurgitating what they've heard in the mainstream. I mean, first of all, these shutdowns are really hurting small businesses, okay? You have your Walmarts open, you have your Home Depots, you have these big companies still open, but a lot of small businesses have been shut down for weeks now, okay? They have razor-thin margins. You close your restaurant for 2 weeks, you might not ever open again.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of issues here for people outside of, the stock market, okay? So it's everyday Americans are feeling this. And there are, if we tank our economy, if we continue to stop our economy, and we have no end in sight, because we have no end in sight, okay? These timelines keep getting pushed. You are going to have death from an economic shutdown, from a total economic collapse. You are going to have abject poverty. You are going to have our healthcare system in shambles. We see in Australia, private hospitals are shutting down because elective surgeries are not allowed right now. They have to be postponed.
Yeah.
So they're bringing in zero revenue.
It's interesting you bring that up. Here in Orlando, there is some complaining because I guess Orlando Regional or some Orlando hospital is still doing some elective surgery if the surgeons want to do it. They're not forcing them, and they're getting blasted for it. And I'm like, why? If they're able to do it and help people who are sick and get that revenue, why are we blasting them? But it's the fear, I guess.
Yeah, I think everything has become so national. Everything's sort of on a federal level. So you think of kind of the news media as national too, right? So DeSantis can't just run his state, or the mayors and county leaders can't, because so much pressure to kind of follow this top-down approach, this one-size-fits-all approach, when there are different areas of the nation, right? New York City is not Kentucky, is not Texas, is not, Montana, right? These are going to be affected differently. There are different populations. There are different population densities. They're different areas, right? You can't just control them all exactly the same. And that's what we've basically been doing. I mean, your governor's the only one who held out this long. Alabama already caved. There is a single approach for the whole nation, which I think is not effective, and I think it's just adding to our problems, because our economic problems are just going to feed into the issues that we already have. Okay, we have this virus. We're learning as we go. For example, in California, we have almost negligible amount of deaths, right? We have like 150, maybe a little more than that today.
It's very low when you compare that to like New York.
And how, for example, think of the tourism, the Chinese tourism in California.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that virus hasn't been there for at least 2 months. So we have to, I mean, there's a lot we don't know, and that's scary, right? Like, why is it exploding in New York and not in California? What sort of things work here? But the one-size-fits-all lockdown does not seem to be working. We saw it in Italy, in Lombardy. They had towns shut down since February 22nd in Lombardy. Last week, they had a fifth of the global COVID deaths. Do we want to model a place like Italy? Probably not. But that's sort of what it seems like we're doing, and it's we have a couple weeks, and I hope President Trump will kind of go back to his initial gut feeling where he said that he will look at counties and will look to try to get some of America back going, getting back to work. That was fantastic from him. When President Trump said that we don't want the cure to be worse than the disease, I want that President Trump back, back leading our nation. That would be fantastic, and I think it'll happen soon because there's 10 million out of work. I don't know how much longer we can go. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. 6.6 million people last week filed for unemployment. And my first thought is exactly what Rush said that you wrote about on the Daily Wire today is that's unsustainable. But I thought Rush made a good point. It's not about lives versus money. It's lives versus lives. We can't risk the destruction of the economy. And I posted this on Facebook a couple days ago. I said, you all realize that a working economy is how you get to eat, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I think a lot of people, frankly, don't understand that. They just think it's going to be there somehow. And I'm like, without a working economy, if we just destroy our country and our economy, you're going to see a lot more devastation and death. And is that better? But if you even bring that up, they say, how could you say that? All the health experts are saying this. All the health experts are saying that. Well, all the health experts, a month ago were saying you shouldn't wear face masks. And now I'm seeing a study today that says this can be transmitted by breathing and talking to someone, which is totally different than what I heard just a week ago. I'm just worried that we're just following the line and this panic is going to continue. We're saying, okay, we're going to be shut down for a month, but after a month, are we just going to say, okay, we have to be shut down another month? And then after another month, are we just going to say, we're just going to be shut down another month? I don't think it's an unfair question to ask how long this lasts.
That's right. And the uncertainty, again, is hurting the economy. If we had some certainty, we have Dr. Fauci, who is fantastic for what he's doing, right? He is a medical expert. That is what he does. He does not weigh in the economy. That's not his job. It doesn't matter. His job is to stop the spread of COVID. That is his one job. Donald Trump's job is to get a balanced approach, and then he makes the call. Right. He makes the call. But it doesn't seem that way. We don't have a timeline. Again, we had 15 days, then we had Easter potentially. Now we have until April 30th. We had Dr. Fauci say today, this is our only weapon until we have a vaccine. I hope people understand. Dr. Fauci saying that suggests that we will do this until we have a vaccine. That is maybe a year, maybe years. That doesn't make any sense, right? That's not a real goal. So what is our goal? Is our goal to stop, slow the spread so we can ramp up production and make sure hospitals are okay? Okay, that's fine. Tell us that and give us a date so we can ramp up production and be prepared because all we're doing right now is delaying this, right?
Exactly.
We're not like stopping anything. We're delaying it. So what is the plan? And I think it has not been communicated to the American people what our plan is, and we need some more leadership here. And President Trump has done a lot. I'm not knocking President Trump. I mean, he made such a vital call in the beginning with travel restrictions that was phenomenal. Okay, yep. I'm not trashing Donald Trump, but I want more of Donald Trump. I want him to take the reins and give us some real leadership and give us more some clarity here.
I think it was the last show or the show before that I actually said I thank God Trump is president right now because Trump is reluctant to take all this power.
That's
the
right.
Democrat said he wants to be a dictator. I've never seen anyone more reluctant to be a dictator. He obviously doesn't want to be one, and now they want him to be one. And I'm like, I think, God, if someone else was in there, they could have totally grabbed power, and this country would be screwed for a long time.
That's right, and that's another thing that always must be weighed. Civil liberties always must be weighed. Is it appropriate that we are arresting pastors right now for having worship with their congregants? Is that America? Is that justified? Until when? I mean, we had de Blasio say that he'll shut them down permanently if they continue to do this. That is, I'm sorry, is the First Amendment suspended right now?
Seems like it.
Yeah, it's these things still. So and fear is a very powerful thing, and I'm not saying it's maliciously being used. It's just there's fear out there, so it's easy to kind of give up these things, you seemingly temporarily, but. Yeah. Seemingly temporarily. We have to hold on to our civil liberties.
Keyword seemingly.
Yeah.
Can you stay with me through a break? Because I did want to get your take on Governor Cuomo, because you were up in New York, so he is your governor. Yeah. I wanted to get your take on what kind of job he's doing, because now he's being floated as a presidential candidate for some reason. So I wanted to get your take on that. And I think the laugh exactly shows what she feels about that. So we'll talk with you in just a moment after break. This is Beyond Reason Radio. I'm your host, Michael Yaffee. We'll be right back.
If you miss any of the show, you can download the Beyond Reason podcast on iTunes.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
855-680-2173, 855-680-2173.
Paid for by U.S. Med.
As we spend more time at home, we look around at all those projects that never quite got done. If suddenly you're finding time to check off your to-do list, make sure you support local and check out Fence Outlet.
Protecting my little ones and our pup has never meant more, and we needed a fence in our yard.
With Fence Outlet's easy fence in a box, I was able to purchase everything we needed and install myself. I got a simple quote online on Monday, and with no contact delivery, I had finished our DIY project by the weekend.
Find the time today at fenceoutlet.com.
Do you want to learn to speak a new language but don't have enough time? Then you need to try Babbel, the language learning app that you can try for free right now at Babbel.com. Babbel's lessons are just 15 minutes or less, and you can go at your own pace. You'll be amazed at how easy Babbel makes it. Start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free. Just download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com now. That's Babbel.com.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. You can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. You can try a full 30-day bottle free. Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy.
Call 1-800-424-7115. 1-800-424-7115. 1-800-424-7115.
Broadcasting from the Mills Air Studios. For all your AC needs, go to millsair.com to schedule an appointment. The place where we talk faith, culture, and politics. Beyond Reason Radio continues.
Welcome back to the show. This is Beyond Reason Radio. By the way, we're on Facebook Live as well. If you want to like the Beyond Reason Radio Facebook page, you can also follow me on Twitter at Michael Yaffee. It's Yaffee. I still got people who think it's Yappy. It's not Yappy. It's actually a last name, Yaf. Isn't Frank? Isn't Frank EE? But we're talking once again about coronavirus. I don't know what else we could possibly be talking about right now. It's dominating the news, and I'm speaking with Amanda Prestigiacomo, writer for The Daily Wire, and I brought her on because I try to find voices of reason. She has definitely been a voice of reason. I think she's been right on. I would recommend following her on Twitter at Amanda Presto and reading her stuff at The Daily Wire. And Amanda, one thing that I wanted to get your take on was Governor Andrew Cuomo is getting a lot of attention And you're up in New York, so he is your governor. Any thoughts on how he's doing?
So I was hammering Cuomo pretty early on because I didn't, and I still don't agree. New York is huge. So I'm in upstate New York. Upstate New York is not downstate New York. Is not New York City. I mean, these are totally. I mean, there's farmland here, very big open spaces. You're not in this urban, you don't have all these multi-generational apartments on top of each other. It's very, very different. So that would mean that we should have different policies. We shouldn't have statewide policies. We're just too big and we're too different. Governor Cuomo had, kind of quote unquote non-essential, which is the most Orwellian term I've ever heard.
It really is.
Non-essential businesses were, closed down for, this is the third week we are going on. Yes, this is crushing small businesses. So that I do not agree with. I do not agree with Governor Cuomo as he was shutting down businesses. While the shutdown was commenced, he had his hand out and he collected sales tax revenue from these small businesses who begged for it to be delayed, not even withdrawn, but just to be delayed so they can hang on to employees. He said no, collected thousands of dollars from these small businesses, which I think is unconscionable.
It's amazing to me that, that seems like a pretty smart option right now. And for some reason, all these governors and local politicians, they don't want to do that. No, that can't be done. We can spend $2 trillion at the federal level, but suspending tax payments for just a couple of months of small businesses can make it. No, it's not. Yeah,
there really is, and apparently we should not expect any. Although ideally this would be the case. There is no state relief. We are depending on the federal government, which is a problem in and of itself.
I agree.
So small businesses are getting continuously hit. He had no relief on those taxes. His press conferences for the past week and change have been a little better. He has outlined, he's done a decent job of outlining what's going on, where the PPE is, where the, protective gear is, how many ventilators they have. He still has a stockpile of ventilators that he hasn't burned through yet. So which is also concerning because, you have all these reports online saying that they, we're short on ventilators or we're short on PPE. And then Governor Cuomo is coming on saying, we've talked to every single hospital and they are flush. We have the resources. We have these. So there's a disconnect there, and I don't really know.
When you talk about the disconnect, I think part of that is Cuomo's fault because it was just a week ago he was yelling about Trump not giving him enough supplies. So everyone's panicking about it. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, we have enough. That's okay. We're good now. Like, what?
Yeah. And his job is to help coordinate that as well, So he doesn't come out of here scot-free. And, people are pushing him to be the Democrat nominee because we all know Joe Biden is not – I don't understand how they run Joe Biden. We'll see what happens.
It's getting worse with Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's pretty rough with Biden. So, they're definitely pushing – we've had increasing calls for Cuomo to kind of step in here. I not say it's something unbelievable. Like if they push Cuomo in to be the nominee, I would not be utterly surprised. So keep an eye on that. But he is. I would grade him a C+. For how he's been handling this thus far.
The mainstream outlets are grading him an A+ while they grade Trump an F. Obviously,
because we're the worst hit states in the whole entire union, so I don't really understand. But okay.
Yeah. It's a good point. I played a montage on yesterday's show of de Blasio basically saying worse stuff than Trump was saying at the beginning. Go to the bar, do this, go out, we're all fine. And it was like in March, the beginning of March. And I'm hug
a Wuhan citizen or something. Like, it was very extreme.
What? Hug a Wuhan. If he said that, I need to find it because that is just...
No, he didn't have exactly. It was tantamount to that.
Pretty much was. Hug a Wuhan. When they're more concerned about xenophobia or whatever, calling it the Chinese virus than the actual virus, it wouldn't have surprised me if someone said that. So do you have any...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
AOC said you're racist if you don't eat Chinese food. So,
stupid.
There's the things they focus on, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. I'm like, they were complaining about that. I'm like, what are they? I went to a Chinese restaurant yesterday and it was packed. What are they talking about? Are they just making this up? I don't understand.
Yeah, there's a difference between China, the communist regime, lying to us and it being a Chinese virus because, again, they lied to us and let citizens leave, as opposed to us taking care of our Asian Americans, whom Trump has repeatedly said are vital. Yeah.
Anyone with a brain knows why Trump was saying that. He was saying that to put pressure on China, and if people don't understand that, that's on them. That's not on Trump.
Beyond silly.
I wanted to ask you, do you find any possible solutions to get people back to work while also trying to control this virus? Like, is there a middle ground here? Anytime I bring up a middle ground, people criticize me saying there is no middle ground. You just want people to die. But I'm like, we're kind of doing a middle ground now with having some places open. If you don't want anyone to die, I guess we have to close everything, even the grocery stores.
Right. It's totally arbitrary. So I think that, as Trump was saying, I mean, this should be looked at county by county. This should not be one size fits all. I think that we can, for example, in California, like I was saying, antibody tests to be able to see if people are immune to the virus. So
thank you.
Maybe I think there's a possible assumption, right, that it was floating through California for at least 2 months. So it's possible that a lot of Californians kind of ran through this and had it in their body and are immune to it now. Those antibody tests would let us know if that was the case. If that's the case, wow, we can get parts of California back to work. That's just one example, right? But you can have other places that are not ravaged, and they can have these quote unquote social distancing measures and still have, you can have a diner. I don't understand how you can't have a diner open and you can practice social distancing within there. I don't see why that's an issue.
I completely agree with you on that.
You can go to a Walmart. I don't understand the difference there. So there needs to be some delineation. There needs to be some common sense in this, right? Like in Virginia, they closed golf courses. Why? Wide open spaces are good. Sun is good. It's disinfectant for the virus.
As long as they bring their own stuff, like who cares,
Yeah, and it's the alternative is shoving everyone in their little homes and little apartments, and we don't even know if they're asymptomatic and have it, and just getting their whole house infected. That's what we're doing right now. That is the strategy. So it's pretty alarming. So hopefully they can give us some more information, get some more testing out, see who we can get back to work, see where the outbreaks are. Maybe there are harsher measures there. Let's just be strategic. That's all we're saying. Let's not compound our issues and shut down the entire economy. Let's be strategic. Let's quarantine what we have to. Let's have limitations on what we have to, and let's open up what we can. That's all. Amanda
Prestigiacomo for governor of New York State. Whenever the next election is, I can't vote for you, but I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Obviously.
I was just going to say on the antibody thing, we were talking about California. Governor DeSantis thinks a lot of this spread in Florida during the Super Bowl in Miami, which was the beginning of February. So I totally agree with you on that. And like I've said on the show before, I'm almost convinced I had it because I got really sick at the beginning of February for a week, and I had all of the symptoms that they're talking about now, but I have no way of knowing because they're not doing the antibody tests.
That's right. That's right, and it would be so helpful if we could get some more information. That's completely right, and I wouldn't be totally shocked if that were the case.
Yeah. Amanda Prestigiacomo from The Daily Wire. Follow her on Twitter at Amanda Presto and go to thedailywire.com. Read her stuff. Always good stuff. She is a voice of reason on all of this. And thank God people like you are sounding the alarm on some of this. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll have more Beyond Reason coming up in just a moment here on News Radio WFLA Orlando.
If you heart Beyond Reason Radio, listen to the Beyond Reason Radio podcast on iHeartRadio. Just download the iHeartRadio app and search Beyond Reason Radio.
Homeowners, with all of the recent world events, mortgage rates have continued to drop to about 50-year lows. So if your 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is higher than 3.5%, you should call True Mortgage now to see if you qualify for a no-closing cost refi. And when I say no closing costs, I mean no title, escrow, appraisal, or lender fees. Every day you wait, you're burning cash. And as we all know, the world turns in unexpected ways. So what are you waiting for? If your 30-year 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is higher than 3.5%. Call True Mortgage now to see how much money you can save. Call 800-821-7793. 800-821-7793. That's 800-821-7793. Or visit TrueMortgageLoan.com. Sign on the line, Inc. DBA True Mortgage is located at 100 Spectrum Center Drive, Suite 520, Irvine, California, 92618. NMLS number MLD 1713. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
Morgan & Morgan. Dial pound 529 on your cell phone. Pound law. That's all.
No more fake news. No more negativity. No more groupthink. It's time for the new media revolution. Join me, David Gronowski, tonight at 8 for A Neighbor's Choice on News Radio WFLA Orlando.
Hi, this is Melissa Fox from Good Morning Orlando. $1,000 could be yours just for listening to News Radio WFLA Orlando. Just listen weekdays from 6 a.m. through 9 p.m. every hour for the keyword to text, and you could win your share of over $600,000. This is the biggest cash giveaway in Orlando. What will you do with $1,000? Just listen, and we'll help build.
Talk Radio. This is your safe space for conservative thought, not for political correctness. Yaffee is back right now.
So there was one thing that Amanda said in the last segment that really struck a note with me that I haven't heard anywhere, but she's right. And I think you'll probably agree, Tom Benson.
Mm-hmm.
She said we need to be strategic about this.
Instead of reactionary?
Yeah, instead of because she's right. Like, there is no strategery here, it seems like. Like, at all. It just seems like shut everything down and then we'll see if we can come out later. And I feel like that's not a good way to do this.
Well, that could be because we're in uncharted waters, and I'm not sure people know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, I understand all that. I really do.
They're doing what they know they can do, and they're hoping that would work.
I'm worried about a couple of things. One, I'm worried about the precedent we're setting by shutting everything down so quickly and people not really asking questions about it. I mean, it's not that I disagree with all of the shutdowns. New York City probably should be shut down like it is. It's just we need to ask questions about it because that's how we keep our liberty. If we get to a point where we just blindly follow our leaders in times like this, we get to a point where we'll lose our liberty one day. So, I mean, that's what I worry about. The other thing I worry about, though, is the panic. Because when you talk about the shutdown of the state of Florida, I'm sure you've seen it in the media too, Tom. DeSantis is being blasted still for not doing this sooner. Oh, he should have done this sooner. Should have done this weeks ago. It would have saved more lives, yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking, one, how much does this really change? Because most public places where you have large groups of people together were already closed. And all the essential are still open. So what exactly is the big difference by DeSantis doing this statewide and some of the other places? Because across the state, a lot of these public places were already closed. So what is the purpose of this? And I think the purpose is literally to scare people. I think they want to scare you into your homes because they think it's the only way to stop this spread. But what I worry about, once again, is the panic. Because we've already had problems of grocery stores running out of things because people are hoarding. And there are people out there that are not as informed as you and me that hear about a stay-at-home order, and they literally think they can't go outside their house. So they all rush to the grocery store and hoard things for 3 weeks. And then the people who need it within the 3 weeks, they can't get it. And so that bothers me. The other thing that I worry about is what I've been talking about for weeks since the beginning, before I heard anyone else talking about this. Never letting a crisis go to waste. Using this to promote a big government agenda. Remember at the beginning of the show, I said the new thing is going to be if you disagree with the leftist policies, you are against people's health. You want people to die. That I'm telling you, even when this coronavirus pandemic is over, they are going to say that more and more often. Well, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, was actually asked about, what does this mean for the future? And he thinks, well, this could be a great opportunity. Here's what he said.
Absolutely, we see this as an opportunity to reshape the way we do business and how we govern. And that shouldn't put shivers up the spines of, one party or the other. I think it's an opportunity anew for both parties to come together and meet this moment and really start to think more systemically, not situationally, not just about getting out of this moment, but more sustainably and systemically to consider where we can go together this historic moment if we meet it at a national level and a state and subnational level.
So there you go. He talked about the fact that this is an opportunity to look at this more systemically. And, it's a very strange day, Tom Benson, where I actually agree with Chuck Schumer more than I agree with President Trump.
Woo!
I know. You want to talk about Beyond Reason.
Let me mark this down on the calendar.
Because another thing, it's not just Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who's been saying we need to use an opportunity. President Trump came out a couple of days ago and said this is an opportunity to pass a $2 trillion infrastructure package. Why in the world would you even think
of
about
that now?
Doing this right now? Yeah. Well, he said because interest rates are low, but that shouldn't even be considered when we just spent $2 trillion on something. So the whole thing that I was going to say, Chuck Schumer came out today and he said, we shouldn't be thinking about that now. We can think about that later. He agrees with Trump. We need it, but just later. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's probably smarter than even talking about this now. But this is definitely been one of those, we can't let an opportunity go to waste. But another thing I worry about when it comes to this, and we're already seeing this happen, is a sort of censorship out there that you can't ask these questions. And one person who brought this up was Tucker Carlson on Fox News. And I'm going to get to what he said in a moment. Actually, let's play what he said first about that, because people like me who are asking questions, people like Amanda who want to be more strategic about this, people like Matt Walsh on the Daily Wire who are saying you can't just shut down the economy, 10 million people out of work, and expect that to be sustainable just because we have to stop a virus. We need to have a better plan for us, at least in the next month or so. And you even mentioned that in social media places want to shut you down. People want to shut you down. They say you're endangering public health, as I just mentioned. Well, Tucker Carlson on his show a couple of days ago was talking about that. He's exactly right. The voice of reason of the day. Here's Tucker.
We don't know the best way to treat it. Those are some of the things we don't know, and we should never be embarrassed to admit that. All scientific advances come from conceding ignorance. That's always the critical first step in discovery. Admit what you don't know, observe, test again and compare. Never allow your preconceptions to influence the results. That's called the scientific method. It works. That's why average life expectancy is no longer 42. Unfortunately, Western media companies are not pro-science at the moment. They're opposed to science. It means losing control. They see their job not as encouraging the kind of robust, open-minded debate that yields scientific breakthroughs, but instead as guardians of stale conventional wisdom, the Praetorian Guard of the discredited professional class. For example, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro recently questioned the value of quarantine. Bolsonaro argued that the coronavirus is less deadly than we thought, that keeping the economy from crashing is a more important goal, and that isolation should be practiced only for people at risk. Now, of course, Bolsonaro could be completely wrong about that. He might also be completely right. We don't know. Nobody does. But big tech does not believe you should be allowed to think about this. So Twitter has already deleted Bolsonaro's comments. The other tech monopolies have followed suit. They claim Bolsonaro contradicted official public health guidelines. Consider that. Official public health guidelines. The U.S. government has spent weeks telling you that masks don't protect the public from coronavirus. That is a lie. It's also an official public health guideline. In mid-January, the World Health Organization told you that China had determined the virus couldn't be spread from person to person. That was a lie, too. It killed tens of thousands of people. Another public health guideline. Should Twitter have censored anyone who disagreed with it? If it happened today, they would have censored anyone who disagreed with it. At the moment, Twitter is censoring comments that say unapproved things about hydroxychloroquine. It's the anti-malaria drug that has shown some promise. Is the drug known for certain to be effective? No, it's not. But some doctors and researchers on the front lines think it works, and they're treating patients with it right now. The FDA just approved it. Yet because the media are partisan and stupid, their position is hydroxychloroquine doesn't work and can never work, and if you disagree with that, we'll make you shut up. That's the Middle Ages position on science. Free inquiry is scary and must be suppressed. They're doing it now on the largest scale in history, and they're not likely to stop. It's just too tempting to use a crisis to achieve your political objectives. Soon they'll be telling you that Fox News, not China, caused this pandemic. In fact, many are saying that now. How long before they start claiming that in the name of public health, Fox News must be suppressed? Paranoid? Okay, you watch. That'll happen.
That was Tucker just a couple of days ago. Headline that I found on Mediaite today. 74 journalism professors sign letter slamming Fox News over coronavirus misinformation, calling it a danger to public health. He's exactly right, and this is what worries me. Because people on Fox News are having the debate on what is the best way to approach this, because they're not just following our leaders blindly as they literally shut the economy down for who knows how long, as 10 million people are unemployed, which affects human lives. As Rush said, it's not lives versus money, it's lives versus lives. And it worries me. How long until they're going to take me off the air because of things I've said? Hopefully
14 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Time's up.
Oh, jeez. It worries me. And then I saw a story in Britain where, no, not Britain, Germany, where it says Germans are snitching on neighbors, flouting virus rules.
Yes.
It says in echo of the Stasi past. Law-abiding Germans are zealously helping police crack down on people flouting new social distancing rules aimed at slowing the spread of the coronavirus by reporting on strangers, neighbors, and friends.
You know where this all comes from, don't you?
Where?
See something, say something.
Oh, really?
Sure.
I didn't really think about that. That's a good point. But I think this is too far. I think a lot of this is...
Sure, absolutely.
It's just, it's panic. It just seems like it's panic. And nobody's asking, where does this lead? That's what I'm always thinking about. Where does all this lead? Don't just think about the moment. Think about the future. You know, one person who was thinking about the future, Senator Tom Cotton. And he was blasted for it. And now it seems like he was right. We'll get to that in a moment. This is Beyond Reason Radio. I'm your host, Michael Yaffee. We'll be right back.
Listen to the latest episodes of Beyond Reason. Download the podcast at Spreaker.com.
Greenway Dodge delivered. Simple, safe, and free. Complete the entire sale by text, email, phone, or conference, and we'll deliver your new vehicle to your door. And take advantage of no payments for up to 6 months. Shop 24/7 at GreenwayDodge.com. Feel the Greenway Dodge difference.
This is Bud Hettinger. Amid the coronavirus crisis, some things you need to know about Safe Touch home security. First, Safe Touch is considered an essential service, so Safe Touch is open to ensure the safety and well-being of you and your family and your business. Also, you need to know that a Safe Touch system like the one we've had protecting our home for years is not only a security system, it's a health and wellness system. The Safe Touch two-way communicator serves as a 24/7 medical assist in the event that 911 is unavailable to you. Get a Safe Touch system for an elderly parent right now, and panic buttons can be placed throughout their home. Safe Touch cameras give you look and listen capability. Should they fail to move, you get a text message. Right now, any Safe Touch system comes with their amazing health and wellness feature for free. Safe Touch. Your health and safety are all they do. In the coronavirus crisis now more than ever, you need a Safe Touch home security and health and wellness system. Go to safetouch.com, state license number EF233.
As schools close and we embrace social distancing, parents everywhere are struggling to keep children healthy and occupied. Consistency and structure are calming during times of stress, especially for kids. At the Child Mind Institute, top experts are coming together to offer free guidance about how to effectively support our children's well-being and our own during this crisis. Visit childmind.org for resources, support, and daily Facebook Live sessions with child psychologists. childmind.org.
Hey, it's Melissa Fox from Good Morning Orlando. Join me Thursday nights at 9 o'clock when I do my thing called Connection Show. It's relationship radio with a twist. We invite experts in the field to come and help us out with everything from relationship problems to health questions and more. Sponsored by Stages of Life Medical Institute in Longwood. Every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Listen to the podcast on the iHeartRadio app. Search Connection Show.
News Radio WFLA Orlando is available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. News Radio WFLA Orlando, an iHeart radio station. Your voice of truth in a world of fake news. Beyond Reason Radio continues right now.
Here's a headline that anyone should find interesting. I found it interesting out of the Hill. San Francisco bans reusable bags. Hold on. Where'd it go? Yeah, bans reusable bags in coronavirus fight. That's right. Their ban on plastic bags has now been unbanned. You remember, I think years ago I talked about on this show how one of the reasons we switched to plastics was because it's a lot more sanitary. And one of the problems with reusable bags is they tend to spread germs and spread diseases. And now we're finding out, maybe there was a reason why we moved to plastics and disposable stuff. In 7-Eleven right now, you cannot use a reusable cup to get a fountain drink. You have to use one of their things. And I'm thinking, the environmentalists are going to freak. They're going to freak out. So there you go. I think it's a good thing. There's a reason why society was progressing in one way. So another thing I wanted to mention, one of the senators who was first to notice the problem of coronavirus coming out of China was Senator Tom Cotton. And I always talk about live by identity politics, die by identity politics. Huffington Post, a couple of months ago, doesn't say when the day, I think this was back in January, they posted an article that said, don't listen to Senator Tom Cotton about coronavirus. The GOP senator has spread misinformation and panic in a weeks-long meltdown over the disease. Well, it seems like that panic was pretty warranted now, don't you think? But what was the main reason why it seems like they were upset? Because he was so critical of China. He said, it says here, while he had legitimate criticism of China's human rights record, it has morphed into his unfounded allegations against Beijing for failing to stop the spread of coronavirus through a deadly combination of Chinese duplicity and incompetence. China could face serious consequences for the outbreak, Cotton told Fox News. Sounds like they should to me. We're finding out more and more that they've been spreading a lot of misinformation about this, haven't we?
And the information they do spread, you can't trust. And there's no way to verify.
But this is what the Huffington Post says. But China has actually been fairly quick to address the virus and to alert international officials to the problem. According to health experts, as I know, has shared information on the virus that has helped epidemiologists study and track it. Although officials have expressed concerns about transparency around China's handling the outbreak, international health organizations and U.S. officials have largely praised China's reaction to the crisis. I think they're praising him now. Man, the U.S. has also exercised extreme caution in handling the crisis. The State Department issued travel warnings, yada, yada, yada. When they complain about Tom Cotton apparently putting out conspiracy theories because you think it might have come out of a lab in China, which I think is totally possible. Why is that? So Wuhan has a lab there. Oh, no, that's crazy. But it seems like the main reason why the left was critical of Tom Cotton and were upset that he was doing this is because, he's just xenophobic. He's just racist and xenophobic and hates the Chinese people. Live by identity politics, die by identity politics. This time, literally. They were so worried about looking xenophobic that they weren't really addressing the fact that China is a problem and they're partly responsible for the spread of this disease. Trump was right. It's the Chinese virus. Okay. Now things that made something, on the show, was something that made Yaffee laughy. let's get a little lesson in washing your hands from MASH, the sitcom. What was it? The 80s that was on?
70s, and few years in the 80s.
Yeah, here's from an episode. I thought that was pretty funny and kind of impression. Here it is.
Major Winchester, I'm terribly sorry. Would you mind stepping outside and scrubbing up?
I kind of doubt that'll be necessary, Major. I just spent 7.5 minutes scrubbing.
Yes, but that was before you touched your nose.
I beg your pardon.
Your nose. You touched your nose. You're no longer sterile. If you operate now, you'll contaminate the field.
Of course, and it's precisely what I would do if, in fact, I had touched my nose, which I didn't.
Major, I saw you touch your nose.
Major, do you think my face is insensate? Don't you think if I had touched my nose, I would have felt it?
I just felt something funny over my lip. Maybe you touched my nose.
You touched his nose, Charles. You'll have to marry him.
Colonel Potter, I clearly saw Major Winchester touch his nose.
You naughty boy.
Colonel, I refuse to spend another 7.5 minutes scrubbing up because of this woman's paranoid hallucinations.
She's a pretty good observer, Winchester.
I did not touch my nose. I did not touch my nose.
You did touch your nose. I saw you touch your nose.
It's the battle of the noses, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think is ahead, Captain Honeycutt?
Well, Winchester was ahead for a while, but he blew it.
Say, that's disgusting.
How am I expected to operate in here if I must continually leave to wash my hands?
Don't touch your nose!
Idiot.
Oh, that's good stuff. So the good news throughout this coronavirus pandemic is that the internet has come up with plenty of funny things.
Oh, sure.
that we can all look at.
Well, with everybody stuck at home, it gives you something to do.
So Tom Benson, can you talk me off the ledge a little bit? We gonna be okay?
Well, I think you're off the ledge now. I saw you come in the window, and the firefighters have gone away.
They said it's not worth it.
The hook and ladder's gone. But there's some guys here in a white coat waiting to see you.
Oh, well, I mean, they're always out there. They pretty much just they pretty much just let me do the show, and then when I leave, they're like, "Okay, back into the room, back in, Mr. Yaffee,
back into your cage, young man.
We can't have you out in public. You're a danger to public health." By the way, my sister had an interesting idea to spread on the internet. You know how they had different challenges, the ice bucket challenge.
Sure.
She says we should have the 6-foot challenge. And if you spread the 6-foot challenge across the internet, maybe people will actually do the social distancing thing.
Make it a competition.
Yeah, I have to think of a more creative way to do it. What would they do 6 feet apart? I don't know. There's got to be a way to do the 6-foot challenge. Thanks everyone to listening to the show. Thanks to Amanda Prestigiacomo from the Daily Wire for coming on. She was great. If you miss any of the show, you can catch the podcast anywhere that podcasts are available. The best way to get it, download the iHeartRadio app and search for Beyond Reason Radio. You can also like the Beyond Reason Radio Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. And, well, have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.